One of the things in which, I'm quite curious about, and we can chat a little bit more about that, is many people say, or many parents, especially Vietnamese parents or even Asian parents, they feel like, once a student graduates from a university, they are guaranteed to be able to find a job because they graduated from university. What are your thoughts on that? And what are the benefits of vocational training?
Well, that's the same in Australia. People have that perception. So again, something we share in Australia with Vietnam is that many parents, I'm a parent myself, we're very influential over the decisions of our children, although they might be even older people. But our influence on them to prefer university as an outcome is not always the right way to go, because university is a great thing. I've got a university education as well as a vocational education. And it's a very important thing, but it's not for everybody. And also those jobs that I was talking about before in some very future-focused things like renewable energy, like electric vehicles, the technology that's in automation and manufacturing now, all come about because people have good skills and qualifications. As I said before, they can do things as well as know things. And that's a very important thing. And in fact, the job prospects that you spoke about before, almost 90% of our graduates have a job, they get a job, or they go on to further study. That might be their choice as well. So that's a very important thing, that there are lots of jobs out there, and the perception that university is better and somehow vocational education is a second prize is really wrong. And we need to change it, both in Australia and Vietnam, I suppose.
And elsewhere in the world as well, right?
Indeed, you're right, yes.
So I'm going to ask a golden question, and this is a question that's probably on the minds of a lot of Vietnamese people. And the golden question is, what job is there available to international students after they graduate? In Australia, and obviously at home, there's a number of jobs in Vietnam, but what jobs are available in Australia?
Well, there are lots is the short answer to that, but perhaps more helpful is that it depends on the individual, because what interests me will be different to what interests you. So it really depends on what is the person interested in for a start. But I can tell you currently in Australia, there are many, many more jobs than there are people to fill those jobs. So that's not the case in every industry, I admit, but there are lots of job opportunities in Australia where people studying from overseas can help to fill. But it has to come from what are you driven by. And certainly in the construction industry, as an example, there are lots of jobs in all kinds of sectors, in electrotechnology and what have you. As there are in healthcare. Healthcare, I think, is something that's universally growing in many, many countries. And the pandemic that's been going on for the last 18 months has shown us that healthcare workers are very, very important people, and we need more and more of them. So there are lots of job opportunities, but it starts with what is that person interested in first to start exploring.
Mm-hmm. So, how should Vietnamese students think about vocational education training as a part of their education journey? So should they consider it to do it before university, after university, instead of university? Or should they consider it to do it, after a few years of work? What are your thoughts?
My short answer to that is all of those. All of those considerations. We see students studying in Australia, Australian citizens studying in Australia at all points in their life, and that's no different for international students as well, or students studying in their own country. It's very important to make that transition from school to work, and that's where, as I said right at the start, that's where vocational education really holds a very strong place. But we have a lot of students that are studying while they're working to find a better job or to increase their skills so their employability is much stronger. So that's before work, that's while you're working, and that idea of improving your skills to transition through different jobs. Certainly in my own case, if I can say, when I became a chef, I did that through a vocational pathway. But later on, when I wanted to teach, I had to study at university an education qualification. So I suppose I'm an example of how people move in and out of different vocational and tertiary study outcomes through their life, because that's the way life is, life of work is, that we move in and out, up, to different jobs, new jobs and new opportunities, and that's supported by tertiary study and vocational study.